oh. More on Trainiacs. I gotta get going for a nice little ride. A hilly ride. The Gibraltar ride, if you know what that means in Santa Barbara. It's a nice one. Now, over the last 2 years, there are a lot of little hacks that I've found to make travel easier. What bike bag do you end up getting? What bike do you actually end up getting? What are the accessories that you get? How do you pack things? This isn't going to be just a checklist of a bunch of things that you need to buy. These are going to be sort of the optimal things that I've figured out that have actually made traveling quite pleasant. Very much less hassle than it was 2 years ago when I first started. So after I get myself together, go for the ride, we will come back and we'll go through the favorite things that I've incorporated to make travel a lot easier. And my bike guy's coming later today, and he's got a very special travel hack with him. Oh, well, I get what y'all are saying when you comment on Strava about how I'm so fast at such low average power with rides back in Winnipeg. No hills there. Lots of hills here. 3 hours, 15 minutes. I don't even think that I cracked 60 kilometers, like 36 miles. Wow. Travel is great. Some tips. Whoa. New fancy camera. Almost dying on me. Okay, so here's going to be the biggest thing that is going to stress you out, whether you are traveling to a race or you're traveling just to come here. It's going to be getting your bike there. If you're new to traveling with a bike, it can be intimidating. Now, the one thing that I would recommend that I've gone to is go to a Skycon bag or a Shecon bag. That's actually the proper pronunciation for it. That's the bag that is a soft-sided case that allows you to keep your handlebars on. And that's key. When you start taking apart everything here and you start taking apart everything here, that's where it gets really difficult to start traveling, because then you've got to be a little bit more savvy with bike maintenance, which not a lot of triathletes are, especially if you're new to it. But with the Shecon bag, all you have to do is take off the wheels. You can even leave the pedals on, the seat stays on, the front stays on, and you are able to travel really, really quickly. You can pack a bag in about 15 minutes. Now, the downside to this that you need to be aware of is Shecon bags are known for breaking bikes. I knew that going in. But taking apart a bike and putting it back together over and over and over, no matter what your background in bike maintenance is going to be hard on the bike. So it was actually recommended to me by the Ventum bike mechanic. He said, you know what, get a Shecon bag, and if you can, travel with a spare set of handlebars. Or, what some people have suggested, is take a 2x4 that is just slightly longer than the width of the bars and zip tie it in so that it can't get crushed. So a Shecon bag is going to alleviate like 90% of the difficulties of traveling with a bike. Okay, so what about all the gear, all the gadgets, all the things that you need to actually do the race or to take the bike apart? How do you make sure that you don't forget anything? Well, here's a trick that I would use. First, get yourself a dry bag. There will be an affiliate link in the description below to the dry bag that I like. Why I like a dry bag is because all of your transition bags that they're going to give you will leak. If it's raining, if anyone squirts water or Gatorade in your transition area, all your stuff is going to get really wet. So after the race, if you want to put on dry clothes, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be wet. With this dry bag, you can put all your stuff in there, put that in the transition bag, and then everything's fresh as a daisy. Now here's the trick. As you are taking apart your bike, as you are preparing in the week leading up to actually leaving for travel, do some simulations of what you need to actually execute the race. Or go through actually taking apart your bike. And everything that you use, put off on one table off to the side. So whether it's a certain Allen key or a certain torque wrench or a certain specialized proprietary thing to take apart the bike, or there's a certain heart rate monitor that you know you want to have, or a certain pouch for flat repair, or a pump for in the back of your jersey. Any of these things that you need, put off to the side on its own table. Then when you're actually packing up for the race or the travel, you take out your dry bag, put everything in there. This means shoes, this means helmet, this means sunglasses, this means Allen keys, this means everything. So that is how you make sure you don't forget anything. Because I could give you a checklist that is like 50 items long and it's still not personalized to you. That trick is how you get your setup dialed in. Next. Now the next thing you need to know is, do you need to bring a pump? Typically, I have actually avoided bringing a pump to races because I always thought, well, I'll just go and get a pump from somebody else at the race. But the reason that I actually didn't bring a pump is because pumps are really cumbersome in the bag. This pump, however, allows me to pack a bag really flat because it doesn't have 2 feet. It still has everything you'd want in a pump. It has the gauge down there to see what you're pumping it up to. It has full max power. It even screws the nozzle up here into the pump so you don't have the hose just dangling around. And this here is a specialized pump that I had to look far and wide before I decided to do this. And this is the Lysine, I believe, CNC travel floor pump. I'll actually put a link in the description below to where to find this because it's not super easy to find this. That will be an affiliate link, so if you end up buying through that link, it does help the channel out. We get a couple of cents from it. But this pump, by far the biggest good investment I've made to make travel a little bit easier. Now, this isn't necessarily for racing, but let's say that you are a frequent traveler and you want to know where the good riding is. Well, this was just sent out to me. This is the Wahoo Element Roam. So this is much, much bigger than the Wahoo Element Bolt. And this has been specifically designed for frequent travelers, for people that are going off-road. Why this is really nice is because you can load up maps and it has a color screen that those maps end up appearing in real clarity. I rode with it today and basically I just followed the map. So you can find a route with whatever GPX file you want, and it's way better than any of the other bike computers that I've used as far as guiding you around, turn-by-turn navigation. If you get off course, it'll give you alerts. If you end up getting lost and you're actually off the route, you can just press a button on here that says, take me back to the start, and you can get your way home. So for frequent travelers that are going into areas that they don't really know, and you want to make sure that you're able to bike around on routes as if you're a local and as comfortably as a local, I would recommend the Wahoo Element Roam. I like it. Now, if you're looking for another advanced travel hack, what you end up actually putting on your bike here, this setup, this Grupo setup, this is the SRAM Axis E-Tap. Now, why I like this, and I switched from the Shimano Ultegra Di2 to this electronic shifter, is because this here is wireless, and all of the wires that I was using in the Di2 were constantly coming unclipped. It was like half the time that I'd travel, I'd have to go back into the bike shop because the front derailleur or the rear derailleur had come undone, and it's not always super easy to get up into all of the junction box up here or into all of the shifters. Basically, getting all of that connected all the time was really hard. Now with this, it's all wireless. So way easier to travel with. There are quite a lot fewer issues that I find with this getting disconnected. So if you really want to step it up and get a heck of a nice group set, SRAM Red Axis ETAP. Now Trainiacs, my buddy James from the bike shop, you remember James from the bike shop from Alter Ego? He's actually coming here tonight to ride for like 8 days. He has a very special travel bike tip. You got a traveling bike in there?
That's the bike.
That's it?
That's the bike.
I like it.
That's crazy, eh? Let's go.
It's time. All right, explain what you're holding here.
This is the front end of a Ritchie breakaway. This is the back end of a Ritchie breakaway. Seats go together. Seat locks it in place. And then this little coupler at the bottom holds the bottom together.
How does it ride?
Ride's awesome.
Like a normal road bike?
Like a normal road bike. Might be a little heavier than some of the super bikes we ride, but it's pretty awesome.
And it travels in that thing.
Just a bit bigger than the wheels themselves.
How much do one of these cost?
I think the suggested retail on the frame is about $2,500 US, 4,200 Canadian.
It's not the worst for being able to travel easily. Do you have to pay extra for it on the plane?
No extra baggage fees.
That is big. You
That
travel
pays for itself.
You travel like 10 times? You travel, depending on if you're flying United, you travel 4 times.
Yeah.
You're good. All right. That's it. Those are our travel tips. All the way from mandatory to super fancy travel tips. Later, Trainiacs. Subscribe below.